Today, Sunday, the 16th of February 2025, we have some hard pick match predictions to share with you, which of course will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to our hand pick event, which we share to members only, as well as having access to our top-notch membership package plan for bed class tutorials to take your winning to the next height, then you want to make sure to join either the level 2 pro plan or the level 3 master plan to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video description. You want to make sure to navigate to that link, join and subscribe to have access to these features. So without wasting time, let's begin with the first event of our today's pick. But before we proceed, I want to look at yesterday's result. So congratulations based on yesterday's result for we all registered wins. And I'll share with you the result. So let's proceed. So yesterday we had a total of about 13 events which we shared to you. Of course, all of these events were very successful. So congratulations. Let's begin with the first game on this list. So we looked at England in the Premier League, Leicester against Arsenal, and we said that there's going to be the possibility of at least 1.5 goal in full time for this event, as well as Arsenal leading. It ended as 2-0. Arsenal lead by 2, and there was also the possibility of 1.5 goal in full time. Congratulations and successful. In the next, we looked at Germany in the Regional Liga West, where we looked at Lotte against Eintracht Hapoel. In this event, we looked at least 1.5 goal in full time. It ended as 2-0. Successful and congratulations. In the next, we looked at Israel in the Liga Hall, Beerschot against Radnicki Nis. We looked at the home to lead, and we also looked at 1.5 or 2 goals over. The home end up leading 4-0, and there was also the possibility of at least 1.5 goal or 2 goals over. Both cases were true, successful, and congratulations. In the next, we looked at 2 events in the Premier League of England. We looked at Aston Villa against Ipswich. In this event, we looked at corner kick for Aston Villa. Of course, I will check that. And we said that Aston Villa is going to have number of corner kicks, about 3, 4, and 5 corners in full time. It ended up having 16 corner kicks in full time, which was very, very successful, and congratulations. In the next, we looked at Southampton against Bournemouth, and we said that there will be the possibility of Bournemouth to lead, and we also looked at 1.5 or 2 goals over. Both cases were true. Bournemouth ended up leading 3-1, and there was also the possibility of at least 1.5 or 2 goals over. Successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at England, that is Scotland in the Premiership, Celtic against Twente. First, we looked at least 1.5 goal in full time. It ended as 3-0, making 1.5 goal to be successful. Congratulations. Also, we looked at corner kick for Celtic, and looking at the number of corners, we said Celtic, we have much number of corners here, between 2, 3, and even 4 and 5 corners in full time. Celtic ended up having up to 15 corners, making it a very huge success. Congratulations and successful. In the next, we looked at PSV Eindhoven against Utrecht, where we looked at the possibility of at least 1.5 or 2 goals over in this event, and it was 2-2. A total of 4 goals were scored, making 1.5 successful, and also 2 goals over successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at France in the League One, Marseille against Saint-Etienne, and we said that there will be the possibility 1.5 and 2.5 goal here in full time. It ended as 5-1. A total of 6 goals were scored, making it also a huge success. Congratulations and successful. In the next, we looked at Bundesliga of Austria, where we looked at Salzburg against Tirol, and here we looked at 1.5 goal in full time, and it was successful. It ended as 1-1. A total of 2 goals were scored. Successful and congratulations. In the next, we looked at Croatia in the HNL, Dynamo Zagreb against Gorica. We said that there will be the possibility of the home leading, and also 1.5 and 2 goals over. The home ended up leading by 3-1, making it huge success, and also the possibility of 4 goals were scored in total, making 1.5 and 2 goals over, also successful, and congratulations. The next, we looked at Czech Republic in the Fortuna League, Karvina against Sparta Prague. We looked at Sparta Prague leading. I will also look at least 1.5 and 2 goals over. All cases were true. Sparta Prague lead 3 against 2, and there was also the possibility of at least 1.5 or 2 goals over. Successful, and congratulations. In the next, we looked at Greece and the Super League and 10 against Atromitos, and we said that AK and 10 will lead. We also looked at the possibility of 1.5 or 2 goals over. It ended as 2 against 1, AK and 10 leading, and also the possibility of at least 1.5 or 2 goals over. All cases were true, successful, and congratulations. In the next, we looked at Portugal in the Liga Portugal Sporting against Uruca. In this event, we looked at least 1.5 or 2 goals over. It ended as 2 against 2. A total of 4 goals were scored. Congratulations. We also looked at Sporting for corner kicks, 2, 3, and even 4 corners for Sporting, or 5. It ended as 9 corners for Sporting, making it a huge success. Congratulations as well. In the next, we looked at the last event where, of course, we had a game between Jena against Plön, and in this event, this was postponed and this did not play, and of course, making it huge success on this list. All the events were very successful. Congratulations to you all. Let's now proceed to the event of today. So now let's proceed to the event of today. But before we proceed, I have a quick announcement to make. If you come here to the front page of our channel here, labeled as home, you're going to notice that we provide hand predictions for members only. And once you become a member of either the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master plan, you're going to start to have access to these features based on our handpick event to start taking your winning to the next height. Not only are you going to have access to our handpick event, but if you are a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, as for example, you're also going to have access to our top-notch bet class tutorials like the Level 2 Pro class if you're a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, which will give you access to the live match corner kick strategy step-by-step, the bet winning trick that you can use to make consistent win, the never seen soccer prediction strategy, which we have explained, the comeback straight win strategy step-by-step, never seen betting strategy that will amaze you, followed by 99% win rate strategy for members of the Level 2 Pro plan. Once you're a member of the Level 2 Pro, you also have access to Level 2 Pro classes that will give you access to all of these video tutorials to start taking your winning to the next height. But if you're a member of the Level 3 Master, you're going to have access to even more video tutorials which are top-notch. Once you're a member of the Level 3 Master, you have access to the Level 3 Master classes that will give you access to the top secret AI tool we use to find games in terms of goals and straight wins, game changer corner kick strategy to start finding corner kicks that will reveal our secret website we use for corner kick picks, also followed by the amazing AI tool we use and the home and away match prediction strategy step-by-step for win, and also 2.5 goal strategy to beat the bookies and win even more. Once you become a member of either the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master plan, you have access to these features. And I'll put a link directly below this video so that once you subscribe to the Level 2 package plan or the Level 3 Master package plan, you have access to the link below that will enable you to watch all of these video tutorials in just one place. So without wasting time, let's look at the first event of our today's pick. Looking at the first event, we looked at England in the Women's Super League, the match between Manchester United women against Crystal Palace women. The recent performance of Manchester United women in terms of the Super League they have proved that they are very offensive, especially in the Super League games where they had game against Liverpool 4-0 and also against Brighton 3-0. That of Crystal Palace, on the other hand, is not very defensive. They concede too much of goals in the Super League of the England Premier League women, and of course they concede up to 5 goals, 3 goals in each event. This time, these two are coming to meet, and looking at the stand performance in terms of the form, Manchester United women, the home, proved to be very offensive and also very defensive, scoring 11 goals in 5 events and conceding only 1. They are very offensive and defensive as compared to that of Crystal Palace, which is the away. The defensive line is very weak, and we'll look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home team performance in terms of recent events they have had proved that they are very offensive. The strength at home based on offense is very strong. Comparing to the weak defense of the away, you want to look at the home to take advantage of the weak defense of the away. to lead this match in full time as one of the major pick. And since the away defense is also very weak, we want to look at least the possibility of 1.5 goal in full time or 2 goals over. These are our 2 major picks for this particular event. Looking at the next tier, we'll look at Belgium in the Jupiter Pro League, a match between Gent against Beerschot. For this particular event, we have already checked every analytic and looking at the performance of the home and away. And in this event, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home team Gent have proved to have high offense in terms of corner kicks event. And since the away, on the other hand, have had more losses in recent games they have had, they will tend to block more of the shoot caused by Gent. As a result, we are looking at the home to have over 2 corner kicks in full time, 3 corner kicks in full time, and even 4 corner kicks for this particular event in full time. So we look at the range of between 2 to 4 corner kicks for the home team in full time. This is our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we looked at England in the Women's Super League, this time Arsenal women against Tottenham women. The recent performance of the home Arsenal women have proved to be very offensive in terms of the recent game they have had in the Super League of England, especially against Crystal Palace, where they had a lead 5-0. Tottenham, on the other hand, in terms of the recent gameplay they have had in the Super League of Women, also proved that they are very offensive as well, scoring 3 goals against the same Crystal Palace. This time, these 2 are coming to meet, and looking at the form comparison in terms of recent events they have had, the home Arsenal women have proved that they are very offensive, scoring 15 goals in 5 events played, with 2 goals conceded, offensive and defensive. But that of the away Tottenham, on the other hand, have proved that the offensive line is not very tight, but the defense is very, very weak. And looking at this, we want to look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, we look at Arsenal as the upper hand with a very high offensive power at home recently in terms of the form, and the weak defense of the away in terms of defensive lineup. We look at the home Arsenal women to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to either lead in full time, or looking at the possibility of 1.5 goal in full time as the next major pick, since the defensive line of the away is very weak. We look also at the possibility of at least 2 goals over. These are our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we looked at Serbia in the Super League, a match between Radnicki against Jedinstvo U. In this event, the home Radnicki have proved to be very offensive in terms of recent events they have had, especially in the CF, that is club friendly, and also in the Super League of Serbia. The performance rating is very high comparing to that of its opponent that concede based on recent events they have had. Looking at the comparison in terms of the form by the recent game they have had, the home and away, the home Radnicki in terms of the recent event they have had proved that the offensive line is better as compared to that of the away, scoring 8 goals in 5 events, conceding 6. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the defensive line, proved that the defense here is very weak, conceding up to 17 goals in just 5 events. Here we look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the home Radnicki have proved to be more offensive in terms of recent events they have had. And since the defensive line of the away is very weak, we look at the home to take advantage of this. So we want to look at the home to lead in full time as one of the major picks, as well as we want to look at least the possibility of 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we look at Netherlands in the Eredivisie, a match between Twente against Waalwijk. For this event, the performance of Twente in terms of recent events they have had proved that they are very offensive, especially in the Eredivisie. You can see scoring 6 goals, 2 goals, and 3 goals in each event. That of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of recent event in the Eredivisie, proved that they concede too much of goals, 3 goals, 2 goals concede. And looking at the stand performance in terms of recent event they have had, the recent performance of the home Twente by the home game proved that they topped this particular table, scoring 18 goals in just 5 games played and having 4 leads, very offensive, and the defense is not very tight. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the defensive line, they are not very strengthened in defense. And looking at this, we look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the performance of the home in terms of the home form have proved to be very offensive. And since the defensive line of the away is not good, we look at 1.20 to lead. Secondly, we want to look at the high offense of the home to take advantage of the weak defense of the away. Goal probability at least 1.5 goal in full time as the next pick, and also looking at the possibility of 2.5 goals to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at England in the Premier League, a match between Liverpool against Wolves. The recent performance of Liverpool in terms of the recent event they have had in the Premier League and also in the CL have proved that they are very offensive, scoring huge number of goals in recent events. Wolves, on the other hand, in terms of the recent game played, have proved that the defensive line is not very good, conceding 3 goals in each event in the Premier League itself. Looking at the stands, Liverpool, in terms of the recent event they have had by the form of the home, Liverpool proved to have a very good stance, scoring 13 goals in just 5 events. They are very offensive. Looking at the form of Liverpool in terms of home game played, proved that they are very offensive, They are very offensive, but comparing to that of its opponent, Wolf, on the other hand, the defensive line is not very tightened. And looking at Wolf defense, the defense have considered up to 10 goals for 5 events played. And looking at this, we'll look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the performance of Liverpool recently have proved to be offensive, and the recent performance recently have proved that they are good. And since the defense of the away is not very tight, we want to look at 2 major picks. One, Liverpool to lead in full time, and secondly, the probability of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, to look at England in the Women's Super League, a match between Chelsea women against Everton women. The recent performance of the home Chelsea women have proved to be very offensive in recent games. They have had scoring huge number of goals in the Super League itself, like you can see against Arsenal, which is a tougher team. And looking at that of Everton, on the other hand, the defensive line is very weak, considering a huge number of goals based on recent events they have had. And of course, looking at the recent head-to-head they just made in the FA Cup, in the FAC Cup, they had a total of 5 goals between the two. They are still coming to meet for this particular tournament. And looking at the recent performance or stance in terms of the home and the away, Chelsea, which is the home in terms of the form, have proved that the home offense proved that they are good. And looking at its offensive line, they have scored 13 goals in just 5 events played with 5 lead. Very good in offense. And looking at Everton, also on the other hand, Everton had a very weak defense. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the home Chelsea women have proved to be very offensive. And looking at the strength offense of the home and the weak defense of the away, we look at Chelsea women, the home, to either take lead in full time as one of the major pick. Also, since the defensive line of the away is very weak, we want to look also at goals probability. 1.5 goal in full time as one of the major pick as well. Looking also at 2.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Germany in the Bundesliga women. A match between Bayern Munich women against Werder Bremen women. The recent performance of Bayern Munich women in terms of recent gameplay they have had proved that they are very offensive. Looking at the offensive line, scoring huge number of goals, 2, 4, 7, very high, as well as 4. But that of Werder Bremen, on the other hand, they are also very good in terms of the offensive line. And looking at the stand comparison of these two in terms of recent events they have had, the form of the home Bayern Munich women proved that they are very good, scoring up to 14 goals in just 5 games played, considering 2 good offense and good defense. That of Werder Bremen, on the other hand, is also a good offensive team. And looking at this, we look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, both of the two sides are very good in terms of the offensive power. And the fact that the defense of both sides are tough, we want to look at both two sides more shoot on and off target. Therefore, we look at 1.5 goal in full time as one of the major pick. And we also want to look at combined effect, the effect of 6.5 and 7.5 corner kicks in full time, since there will be more shoot on and off target, resulting to blocks as well. That will deflect the ball, causing corner kick as well. So look at 2 major picks here. 1.5 goal in full time. 2, 6.5 or 7.5 corner kick in this event in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Belgium in the Jupiter Pro League, a match between Royal Union Saint-Gilloise against KV Mechelen. For this particular event, of course, we have checked everything, the home and away performance, and Royal Union Saint-Gilloise is a good corner kick team, causing more shoot off target, causing corners. Therefore, we are looking at Union Saint-Gilloise to have corner kicks in this event, at least between 2 to 4 corner kicks in full time. So look at Royal Union Saint-Gilloise to have 2 corner kicks, 3 corner kicks, and even 4 corner kicks in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Greece in the Super League, a match between Panathinaikos against Volos. For this event, the performance of the home in terms of recent event they have proved that the home team, Panathinaikos, in terms of recent event they have had, they are very offensive. That of its opponent, on the other hand, is not a very offensive team, having conceded goals recently. The stand performance of these two in terms of comparison by the home form, the home proved that they are offensive, scoring 8 goals in 5 events. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the defensive line, they are not very tightened. And looking at this, we want to look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the defensive line of the away is not very tight, but the offense of the home is better. So look at the home to either lead in full time as one of the major pick, as well as at least 1.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, to look at Scotland in the SWPL women, a match between Hearts women against Queen's Park women. Performance of the home in terms of recent event they have had proved that they are very offensive, scoring 6 goals in recent event they have had, and also 1 against Patrick Tister. Its opponent, on the other hand, is just a very weak defensive lineup. It's having a very weak defense. And looking at the stance in terms of recent event they have had by the form, the home proved that they are very good, scoring up to 16 goals in just 5 events, considering 2. That's a good offense and good defense. But that of the away in terms of the strength by the home and the away defense, you're going to see that Queen's Park have a very weak defense. conceding up to 16 goals in just 5 games played. We look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home performance is very, very great in terms of offense, but the defensive line of the away is very weak. We therefore want to look at the home to take advantage of that weak defensive line of the away to lead in full time as one of the major picks. Also, since the defense of the away is very weak, we look at the probability of goals, allowing goals for the home to score at least 1.5 goals in full time as well as the next major pick, as well as 2.5 goals. So look at 2 to 3 major picks here. 1, the home to lead. 2, at least 1.5 goals in full time. 3, 2.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, look at Spain in the Liga F women, a match between Barcelona women against Madrid women. In this event, the home of Barcelona have proved to be offensive in recent events they have had, scoring huge number of goals, especially also in the SC and LF. Looking at that of its opponent Madrid, on the other hand, they proved to concede more. Stan's performance will show that Barcelona women, in terms of the form by the home, they have proved to be good. Sitting here on the second place, they have scored up to 20 goals in just 5 games played, with 4 lead. That's a good offense and good defense. And that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the defensive line, is not very tightened. We look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home team is very offensive and the defense of the away is not that very tight. So look at the offensiveness of the home to take advantage of this to lead in full time as one of the major picks. We also want to look at the probability of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time as the next pick. Looking at the next, we want to look at Netherlands in the Eredivisie, a match between Ajax against Heracles. For this event, Ajax, the home team, have proved to be very offensive, scoring 2 goals in each event. And of course, the performance of Heracles, on the other hand, is not as offensive as compared to that of Ajax. So looking at Heracles, on the other hand, the defensive line is not very tightened. And now, of course, looking at the stand performance comparison of these two, and now looking at the stands between these two in terms of form, the home Ajax here have proved that they have, as you can see, in terms of the recent gameplay they have had, Ajax, the home, have proved to be very offensive, scoring 11 goals in 5 event play with 4 lead at home. That's a good offense. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the gameplay they have had, the defensive line of Heracles, on the other hand, is not very tightened. They have conceded 8 goals in 5 events and want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, we want to look at Ajax to have the upper hand in this event. Ajax to either lead in full time and also the probability of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Turkey in the Super League, a match between Fenerbahce against Kasimpasa. For this event, the home Fenerbahce have proved to be very offensive in recent events they have had, scoring 3, 5, and 3 goals in each event. That's a very good strength in terms of offense. Its opponent, on the other hand, is also good in terms of offensive strength, scoring huge number of goals as well. This time they are coming to meet in terms of the recent games. Looking at the form comparison by the home, Fenerbahce have proved to have a very great offense, scoring 14 goals in 5 games played. That's very great offense, and the defense is not very tight. Its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of recent gameplay they have had also by the offense and the defense, Kasimpasa, which is the away team, also proved that they have good offense, and also the defensive line is not very tightened. And we look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, we look at the probability of goals here. Since both sides have good offense, with defense that are not very tightened, we won't shoot on and off target, resulting to goals probability. So I want to look at 1.5 goal in full time as part of the major pick, as well as 2.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Germany in the Bundesliga, a match between Eintracht Frankfurt against Holstein. For this event, the recent performance of Eintracht Frankfurt have proved to be very offensive, scoring 2 goals in each event recently and with 4 goals. Its opponent, on the other hand, also is a good offensive team, scoring a lot number of goals, but they also concede a lot. 4-3, 2-2, and 3-2. In terms of the stand performance by recent gameplay they have had, the home, in terms of form, have proved that they are very good in terms of stand. Looking at the standing of the home, you can see they have scored 10 goals in 5 games played, but the offense and defense, the defense is not very tightened. And looking at the way, in terms of the recent game played also they have had, the way proved that the defensive lineup here is very weak, and want to look at 2 to 3 major picks in full time. For this particular event, both of the two sides are good at offense, but the defensive line of the away is very weak. Both of the two sides want to take advantage of each other, causing more shots on and off target, resulting to goals probability. So want to look at least 1.5 goal in full time as one of the major pick, as well as 2.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Czech Republic Fortuna Liga, Slavia Prague against Ostrava. For this event, Slavia Prague have proved to be very offensive in recent event they have had. Its opponent, on the other hand, is weak at defense, conceding too much number of goals. The stand performance in terms of recent event they have had, in terms of the form, the home have proved that They are good in terms of gameplay they have recently had at home. And looking here at the stands, they lead this table, scoring 12 goals in 5 games played, with all the 5 lead, 2 conceded goals, very offensive and defensive. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, has proved that the defensive line here, as you can see, the defensive line of its opponent is not very tightened, but they also have good offense. And looking at this, we look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, both of the two sides have good offense. And since there will be more shoot on and off target, we want to look at both sides to impress. So 1.5 goal in this event is the major pick we want to look at in full time. To those of you who want to have access to our handpick event, which we share to members only, as well as having access to our top-notch membership package class tutorials, that is bet class tutorials, to take your winning to the next height, you want to make sure to subscribe either to the level 2 pro package plan or the level 3 master plan to start to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video description. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.